Welcome to the Pioneer Sideline, episode 162, coming at you, the longest running show on UView. I'm your host, Chris Hoffman. We're going to step right into men's basketball coverage here. They made their first ever appearance in the playoffs of the KIAC tournament. They were on the road traveling to Cincinnati Christian University. We're going to bring you the score right here. Pioneers suffer the heartbreaking loss. They were looking to defeat Cincinnati Christian for the third time this season, and the third time was the charm for the Golden Eagles. They downed the Pioneers by a final score of 87-70. TJ Hetherington puts up 20 points in his final game as a Pioneer. Samoy 7 points, 9 rebounds. Taylor 9 points. Polot 12 points. But you see there, DJ McCommons 30 points right there, and that's going to do it for the Pioneers season. They go home knocked out in the quarterfinals of the KIAC tournament. We're going to bring our men's analyst here, Phil Navatsyk. And Phil, the Pioneers, we said all season the defense needed to come in and really play a big level. They finally hold a team under 90 points, but the offense just was not there.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we've been saying all season long that they needed their defense to step up come conference tournament time. And while they did hold their opponent to under 90 points, still 87 points is a lot to give up against a strong Cincinnati Christian defense. And while the Pioneers were able to escape with 2 wins earlier this season, we saw Cincinnati Christian really come out and play tough defense all game long, and putting up 87 points was more than enough that night against the Pioneers. Yeah,
we kind of talked about this the last couple weeks here, Phil. The Pioneers definitely saw a tough Cincinnati Christian in both matchups. Definitely probably did not want to play them a third time, and third time really was a charm for Cincinnati Christian. They came, they pushed the Pioneers in the first 2 matchups, and really they kind of finished the job here in the third one.
Yeah, I think they finally got used to Point Park's offense, and the problem with being such an offensive-minded team is that the more you play a team throughout the season, the more strategies they are able to develop on the defensive end. And we saw Cincinnati Christian find a way to stop the Pioneers, and they knew on offense they were going to be able to put up points. As we saw, 87 points, while under the Pioneers' average, is still a lot of points to be giving up. So I think the biggest problem with the Pioneers was, once again, their defense.
Yeah, the defense there gave up 87 points, but the offense, it wasn't there. Only 70 points total for the team. But you have to look at a very impressive career there for TJ Hetherington. He'll be finishing up as one of the all-time leading scorers with the Pioneers, as that was his final game as a senior here. A little bit of a rough way to go out for TJ Hetherington, going out in a loss to Cincinnati Christian on the road. But Phil, he was definitely a team leader and somebody that the team is really going to miss in years to come.
Yeah, and a lot of times people overlook that he's also one of the top 5 assist leaders in Point Park history. So it's something that is really impressive to not only be one of the top 5 scorers in school history, but also to be distributing to your teammates enough to get in those top 5 assists. Overall, just a great career for TJ Hetherington. Like you said, disappointing finish, but you can't take that one loss away from his career here. He was one of the best players Point Park has ever seen.
Now, there's going to be a lot of players that are expected to step up next year. One of them going to be brother of TJ Hetherington, Robbie Hetherington, who's seen some action at point guard and definitely is going to try to take it to next level next year, especially now with the emergence of Gabe McNeil we saw this season. He's going to be another player the Pioneers look to in the future to really carry their team next year. And also a few other players, Josh Pola, who really stepped in this season and played a big presence as like a more athletic center. So the Pioneers definitely have a lot of returning talent next year there, Phil.
Yeah, like you said, Josh Polot is one of the key returners to this team next season. As a center, he came in and he was undersized as the big man on the court, but he does a great job. His vertical leap is incredible for a guy of his size, and he came in for Babs Samoy this year and really put in quality time off the bench. So look for him to make a big impact next year. And then Robbie Hetherington, if he can continue to develop his point guard skills, he could be huge for the Pioneers next year, filling the roles of his older brother.
And then let's not forget freshman Matt Noska will be coming back. He was one of the most consistent players for the Pioneers this season. Is only a freshman. He still has 3 more years with the Pioneers here, Phil. So there's someone this team can really try to build around, as he's one of those players very similar to TJ Hetherington, only a little bit bigger, where he can really work the down low post area and shoot the 3 as well.
Yeah, really, this season we saw Matt Noska, as the season went on, take a back seat to Gabe McNeil as sort of Robin to TJ's Batman on this team. But next season, we're going to see him really emerge as a superstar and might become the main threat. Gabe McNeil, as we saw this season, can do a lot on the court. He can distribute. Matt Noska is just a pure scorer. He's one of those guys that can shoot the ball from anywhere on the court and put it in the basket. So look for him to step up next season, Chris.
That's going to do it all for our men's basketball coverage here. Thanks, Phil, for stepping in. We'll be back to you a little bit later with the baseball analysis, but now we're going to take a short commercial break and be back with Kyle Anthony as we break down the women and see how they did in their first KIEC tournament. You're watching the Pioneer Sideline.